Wanted to ask about how you feel about your form. I know the manager said that you're right back on it at the moment. How would you describe your form at the moment?
Yeah, going well. I feel like, coming back from injury is never easy. To, lack game time in a pre-season is something that wasn't ideal preparation, but I feel like I'm in a good place at the minute.
For you, I mean, and for goalkeepers in particular as well, often they say for outfield players it takes them longer to get back up to speed. What's the differences in terms of a goalkeeper coming back from a longer term injury?
Was it an outfield player that said that? Was it?
Yeah.
Like a goalkeeper is a totally different scenario, really. I don't know if it's really comparable. It's just different things that are involved in goalkeeping and compared to being outfield. Decision making, reaction time, speed of thought, all things that get better with consistently playing. Obviously, everything's affected. Obviously, I missed the last few games at the back end of last season, and then most of the pre-season fixtures. So it's quite a few weeks in between games for me.
Obviously, we've got an England squad being announced today. So the obvious question is, have you had the call yet or the text message?
No, I haven't.
Are you confident that you'll be named in the squad today?
I believe. Nick hasn't been named in the squad today.
Okay.
No, not very confident.
Do you feel like you did enough to get in there? What's your thoughts on that?
Obviously disappointed to be left out. Obviously disappointed to be left out last month, but that's not my decision. It's something that, it's a mayor's decision. It's out of my hands. Unfortunate, I think over the last 3 years I've performed at a really good level. So to be, dropped from a squad 6 games into a season was something that wasn't ideal, but that's how football goes. That's how life goes. It's about moving forward and getting on with it. I've got a really important role to play here with Burnley and in a really exciting squad. So I'm looking forward to playing my part in that.
Yeah, I mean, Gareth has obviously shown that he's not afraid to drop certain players, but he has obviously brought them back into squads as well across the field. Really, does that give you the fire and the optimism that you'll be able to get back in there?
Yeah, I'm sure he's had more difficult decisions than dropping me. I don't think it sent shockwaves through the footballing world, but yeah, obviously it does. I'm not going to name names, but there's plenty that have come out and then come back in over the last 3 or 4 years. So the door's not closed, which is it's good to know.
Aaron Ramsdale has obviously been in fine form for Arsenal. Do you think he's raised his level this season?
Yeah, definitely. I think Aaron's always been a good goalkeeper. Obviously, when you're not a big club, obviously people maybe don't realise that as much. But he's taking his opportunity really well, and I'm glad to see him doing really putting in some good performances for Arsenal as someone that I've come across at England camps and at games when he's been at Bournemouth and at Sheffield United, and someone that I've really enjoyed talking to. So someone I think he's a really really good lad, and it's good to see him progressing really nicely.
I'm sure you saw his save against Leicester from the Maddison free kick. Were you part of the goalkeepers union there cheering him on, or were you a bit like, oh come on Aaron, don't do that to him?
I think if you live your life like that, then you're going to be in for a long season. So I would never wish upon another goalkeeper to let a goal in, definitely. So it was an unbelievable save. Just the whole game in general, he had a top performance for the whole game. So I think obviously that save was just a cherry on top.
I wanted to ask you about Maxwell Cornet as well. He's obviously hit the ground running this season. What's he like to face in training, and what's he been like around the place since he joined?
Yeah, it's been a real breath of fresh air. Really enjoyed having him on the training ground with us, and in the building as well. Someone that's come into a new way of life, obviously a new team, and he's someone that is I think he's his introduction to the team could have gone much better. You know, he's 4 or 5 goals in now, and he's someone that he seems like he's enjoying the challenge on the pitch and enjoying the challenge off the pitch. All the lads, love him to bits. So we're pleased to have him.
Another challenge this weekend for you will be keeping a clean sheet against Chelsea. They've obviously scored a lot of goals recently, and they're obviously without Lukaku and Werner. How do you go about facing them and trying to keep that clean sheet?
Kind of carry on how we are, really. Like before the weekend, we put in a lot of positive performances without getting the right result. So I think it's important from our point of view to, look after ourselves and concentrate on what's been working well for us. We've gone away to Man City and away to Liverpool this season and been unlucky, really. Obviously been beat 2-0 on both occasions, but created plenty of chances and come out of the games with, some really good positives and feel like, we've been really, really close to getting a result at them, tough places to go. So, it's one of them things we carry on the work we've been putting in and look to do it again and, get on the right side of the result.
Brilliant. Thanks very much. Good luck this weekend.
Cheers. Thanks,
David. Andy Bays, Radio Lancs, please.
Morning, Nick.
Morning.
Can I just ask you about, I know it seems a while ago now, as we're talking about England, what was the summer like for you, watching a lot of your mates have such a good time?
Yeah, quite enjoyed it. No pressure, was there? It was obviously more difficult to start, I think, and obviously as the lads progressed and got in to see them doing really well, it was great. It was obviously massive pressure playing for England, and to see them respond and to do it at a home tournament and to go so close to winning it. It was it was a fantastic achievement. It was just lacking the ending.
Do you think the competition is as fierce as you've ever known it to get in an England squad right now?
Yeah, probably. There's Premier League's probably the biggest and best league in the world with a lot of English players now. Really, even the big clubs, some of the academies and the players are producing, and we've had obviously World Cup winners at different levels of England teams and tournament winners and different levels of England teams. So it's kind of been, the talent's been there, and you kind of known it's been coming. It's kind of just coming into shape now, I think, and you're seeing really high level of young England players, which is driving the team forward.
Was there a big sense of relief on Saturday, maybe even at half time, that you were in such control of a game and you really needed a win last weekend, didn't you?
Need a win every weekend. I think it was, I don't know, after the game, maybe, didn't hang on, but, you get a result and 3 points, and, it had been a long time. So it was just nice. It was nice to win again. That's how I describe it.
When you're at half time and you're 3 up, for a goalkeeper and a defence, how good's that feeling, knowing that if there is to be one mistake, it might not be crucial?
I don't really think like that. I think obviously it don't happen too many times, but I think you feel, I felt like it had been coming, to be honest. Like I was saying before about when we've been away at Man City and away at Liverpool, performances in general have been really good without matching the result. So, as the game was going on and it was kind of becoming a good performance, and we're taking our chances and creating even more chances, it just felt like it was something that had been on the horizon for a while. So it was good it was a good performance, and something we just need to build on.
It's hard to believe it's 4 years ago or more already, Nick. You were part of the Burnley squad which went to Chelsea and won on the opening day of the season. I know you were on the bench that day. What was it like?
Yeah, very good. Obviously, Chelsea fresh off the back, win the league, I think. We were fresh off the back of one away win in the season. Good coupon buster, I think.
3 of that back 4 likely to play this weekend, actually, with Matt, James and Ben as well. So it shows it can be done.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. We've won there. We've won at Anfield. We've won at Old Trafford, Emirates. No, it's not something we're alien to. It's something we've we've done before, and something that I think we enjoy doing, and something that it's just a difficult challenge. Won Champions League, they're a top team. There's no denying that. But we've been in the Premier League a few years ourselves now, and we know what we're good at, and we know what it takes to get a result at these places. So big challenge, good challenge, and one we're looking forward to.
Just a final one from me, Nick. Do you feel like you're in absolute full fitness now? Do you feel that everything's behind you from the last few months? Yeah,
I feel fit. Spending less time in the physio beds and more time on the grass is always a bonus. It's something that is definitely at the back of my mind now.
Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Got time for a few for Alex James, please.
Morning, Nick.
Morning.
Just following on from what Andy said there about sort of being back to full fitness, just how difficult a call was it to opt to undergo surgery in May or in the summer, knowing that would sort of rule you out of the tournament, or was it just something that had to be done really for?
It wasn't really difficult because I just couldn't walk great. No, it's just something that we gave the best chance to do, and tried training on it after having a few weeks of kind of rehabilitation and work on it, and it just wasn't possible. So not really a decision. It was something that just had to be done.
Yeah. And obviously you came back, I think, for one pre-season game before the season started. Do you think sometimes people forget that you've had a road, not just you personally, but injured players in general, have had a road to recovery, and maybe expect everybody just to be walk back in the team and be up to the standard that they were before injury struck? Because it will have affected your pre-season quite obviously in terms of what you could do training wise.
I think it depends on the injury, depends on the person, depends on a number of factors, how the recovery goes, what you're doing during the recovery. I think it was always going to be one of the things when an injury incorporates like an off season. It's positive in the fact that you don't miss you don't miss games because it's in the off season, but then don't have the games and the training time maybe you normally would when you come back from injury. So that was just different about the scenario I was in. But I think I'd done everything I could. I wouldn't change anything about my rehab. I had really good people around me. I had a really good surgeon. Surgery went really well. It's just one of them things. It just takes time sometimes.
Yeah, and I guess you had the shoulder injury at Aberdeen, so you've been through the sort of process of recuperation and recovery, which is a frustrating one at the best of times, isn't it? So you sort of were well versed in that. Yeah,
I think so. I think probably the hardest part about being a football player in general is just being injured and not being able to do what you'd like to do and having no effect on the result. I think that's something that's is probably the hardest thing about football anyway.
And just, I'm not going to bring up I'm going to bring up England again, so I apologise for that. But did when you missed out last time, did you get sort of a call from Gareth as to explaining the decision and maybe what you could work on to get back in the squad? Any feedback or anything like that?
Yeah, I had a really good conversation. Obviously, probably not the nicest part of his job.
Yeah.
Give people the bullet. So yeah, we had a good conversation. Obviously, I'm not really going to go into that with you guys, unfortunately.
No, I understand.
So yeah, it's just something that I really respect him. Obviously, I have massive respect for him. He brought me into the squad and has kept me in squads, and has always been really good for me when I've played, not played. So to get a call was is nice in that regard, as much as the news wasn't great.
Yeah, was it a surprise when you found out you weren't in, and obviously you weren't in the summer, but having been sort of from the outside looking in, it seemed pretty much set as second choice for a reasonable length of time.
Yeah, obviously that was how I felt about it going into the summer. Before the injury, that pushing Jordan and maybe if you want to call it second choice for the Euros in the summer, and obviously an injury, and then come back this season, and then obviously not in the top three. But football, that's what happens sometimes. It's not about dwelling on that and putting too much thought into that. After this international break, I think there's 4 or 5 months in between England games, so there's a lot more going on.
Yeah, and just lastly for me, on the Burnley front, obviously you've been established Burnley number one for quite a while now. There was some suggestion I saw elsewhere in the national media that you might be offered a new contract or look to sign a new contract at some point. Are you sort of settled here now and just see the long-term future at Burnley?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, been here a good amount of time, and as I said earlier, it feels like a really exciting time with new owners. Some really, promising new signings, and like I say, performances on the pitch, they're going in a really good direction. Although we've maybe been on less points than we have been in previous seasons, I think the performance levels have been really high. So something that, I think it's an exciting club to be at the minute.
Thanks,
Nick. All the best for the weekend.
Thank you.
I think we'll move into the written